As we gather this morning, we're all at different stages of the great race. Some of us are like Mary. We've found the courage to face the dangers, the fears of Good Friday's crucifixion. And some of us are like the disciples, and we're kind of still stumbling around in the morning shadows. I'm reminded of my very first cross-country race in middle school. It started in Kansas. So, of course, it was in the middle of a wheat field, and it finished on the track that goes around the football stadium. Well, as the race entered the track, I found myself in the lead, and I thought the track meant that I could stop. I didn't realize I had to run around the track almost the entire length. And so from the stadium, my dad and the coach are yelling, keep running, keep running. And so I took a quick step, and I missed the couple of inches transition from the field to the track, and I face planted on that rubber in front of the entire stadium. I had to get up, and I had to find my footing again. I had to find my dignity again, and I had to figure out how to run again. I realized in that moment that seeing the track didn't mean the race was over. It meant I had to dig a little deeper. I think often we treat Easter today like the finish line, like it's the place to stop. We can take a breath, we're done. But the truth is, running with heavy hearts today continues. We're not stalled by the Easter shadows. We don't run because the path is clear. We run because we are desperate to find out the end of the story in our day. We come this morning because we are running away from the darkness of the evening news. There's a war in Iran. We have a political discourse. We find ourselves in the midst of all this sitting at the tomb weeping like Mary. Weeping like Mary. But Mary, we might remember, was the only one weeping that morning. The angel asked her, "Why are you weeping?" And Mary replies, "Why aren't you weeping? Haven't you been paying attention? Don't you know what's happened in Jerusalem? Haven't you read the papers?" We come this morning, for we all carry something inside of us. Maybe it's the silence of something you've lost, a job, a relationship. Maybe it's a brokenness, a guilt about things that have been said that you can't quite take back. We come in the shadows because we are desperate to know that God can do something with our mess. We come to see if the light is actually stronger than the darkness. If the light is stronger than the headlines. Mary came to that tomb and she found it empty, and her response isn't to just kind of stroll leisurely back to the disciples. She does not saunter her way to the upper room. She does not walk lazily through the garden. She runs. She sprints. She bursts into the upper room where the disciples have been hiding and shouts, "He's alive!" Mary, the first evangelist, Mary, the first disciple to believe, sets off the great foot race that would follow between Peter and John, who hightail it to the tomb. Swiss artist Eugène Burnand in 1898 captures the dash between these two men. This painting doesn't hang in the Louvre. It doesn't hang in the Met. It's actually in an old railway station in Paris that has been converted. Look at them. You won't find the stained glass perfection. You will find two men frantic, sweaty, breathless. John, the younger one, the aerobically fit disciple, he's wearing white. Peter, the older disciple, gray-bearded, trailing behind. Bernard captures John's confusion, the clutching of his hands, and Peter's fear. Fear of what they will find in the tomb. When we read John's gospel, I think we should read it with just a hint of snarkiness from John, remembering this scene. John captures this continued conflict between him and Peter, right? Peter being the rock of the church, the leader, the first bishop. John, though, has written of himself that he is the one Jesus loved the most. Really? And so John, when he's writing this, writes himself beating Peter to the tomb. And I can hear Peter retorting, if John says he beat me, he's totally lying. I beat him, FYI. It doesn't matter really who reaches the tomb first. John is honest that he hesitates. He hovers. He's afraid to go in. Afraid of what he will find or not find. Whereas Peter brings with him a raw emotion. Peter's denied Jesus 3 times. He's betrayed his rabbi, his friend. Peter was hiding in the upper room. Peter feels immense guilt. And so his race to the tomb is not about emptiness. It is about messiness to redeem his failures. And so in classic Peter fashion, he barges right into the tomb. He doesn't hover like John. Peter needs to see the absence in order to find Christ's presence. This is not a coordinated race. There's no race director. It is total chaos. Mary is running in a panic. John is running to find hope. Peter is running with desperation. These disciples were terrified as they stepped into the tomb. And we should remember that they stumbled in their faith that morning. They could not find the courage to witness his death. They left that to others. They could not find the strength to go that morning. They stumbled, and yet they got up and they kept running. However you are running this morning, it's okay. The disciples stumbled on Easter. It's okay for us to stumble as well. It's okay if your shoes come off or your laces come untied. It's okay if you arrive late to the tomb. It's okay if you pause out of fear and doubt, because both Peter and John ended up inside the tomb in the same place. The message of the race is that it is okay to stumble. Easter is not about running a perfect race. It's about being equipped for a long one. We call ourselves Easter people, and sometimes I wonder if we think we have to have it all together, be polished and steady and unshakable. We think we have to wear stiff, uncomfortable shoes of perfection to stand in this holy place. But if the disciples' scramble to the tomb teaches us anything, it is that the resurrection meets us exactly when our feet are sore and our spirits are winded. I have learned in my life it is especially okay to come on Sunday morning however you are. My entire life, I have attended church on Sundays. It's been a part of my ritual as a long Christian believer. In fact, Reverend Amy and I, the morning after we were married, we went to church that Sunday. And I have always worn a suit. As a middle schooler, I voluntarily chose to wear a suit while the rest of my family is wearing shorts. I love to get dressed up on Sunday morning. And I especially love a nice pair of wing-tipped shoes. Nothing looks better. But as I have aged and entered my late 40s, and I start walking 6,000 to 7,000 steps on a Sunday morning, I have found those wing-tipped shoes to be killing my feet, my back, my sciatica. And then this year I discovered something new. Wing-tipped shoes that have a running shoe sole. I can walk 10,000 steps before noon and I don't hurt at all. And I love these shoes because they remind me that when worship ends, the race isn't over. We still have more running to do. we're still running in the darkness. So run to the tomb this morning. Run to the world, to war-torn nations, to neglected children, to illnesses and pain. Run to the tomb that is our city, to those who experienced homelessness and abandonment and neglect. Run to the tomb of your own life, to overcome what seems impossible, to remind yourself, love wins again. Run to the tomb, knowing you may stumble, but get up and keep running. Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed.